You're listening to Musical Talk.
At the end of the day, it's all about a cross in a box. You may be the oarsman, but remember I'm the cox. I'll steer you to victory, we must keep things in check. Downstream, that dream chain round your neck. Spin, spin out of control. Sign the paperwork and sell your soul. Spin, doctor, every word you say. Spin until you win the day.
Spin from Soho Cinders, performed by the fabulous Mr. George Stiles. Hello, George Stiles.
Hello, I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm hot.
Well,
it's October.
You can go anywhere from that remark.
It's October and we're in a heat wave. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
It's still September, hang on.
We're here to talk about Soho Cinders, which are in the midst of preparing and writing, by the looks of it.
Yes, still writing, deeply in the midst of it. We made this wild promise that we would stage this concert on October the 9th at the Queen's Theatre, and it meant finishing, yes, like all good wishes, like all good fairy tales, Cinderella will go to the ball and we will be there. Yeah, so it's like doing a full musical, but just for one night. So it's all the work of that.
Is it semi-staged?
It is semi-staged, yeah, it is. If you're familiar with the Encore series in New York, it's that and a bit more. There's dancing and everything.
And music.
God, is there music? Yes, there is. There's a 16-piece band. It's very exciting. I'll never get that when we do the show, so it's an opportunity to indulge a bit of a wish list. And we have this fabulous 7-piece rhythm section, a multiple woodwind player, and 8 strings, which I never get to play with. And we used that same lineup to do the Spoonful of Stiles and Drew concert 3 years ago, and we loved the Soho Cinders arrangement so much that we've adapted the same idea. We're actually working with the band and with the rhythm section to kind of develop the arrangements. We do a good sketch of what we want, and then we go in there and the players make it come alive.
Are you writing all the instrumental parts, or are they improvising?
No, David Shrubsall's doing a lot of fabulous work as well. So there are outline arrangements coming from David, and then we develop them with the players. So, but it's just because it's 2 guitars. If you hand the song in well chord symboled ways, you can very easily get them. Yeah, they'll do it better largely than you will, although David is fantastic at his guitar voice.
It's like drummers, they know what to do and you just give them
a little bit. You book the right person. I mean, Henry Mancini always said you write a good tune and then you book the right players, and I think that's really true. And these are the right players. We've got such a fantastic band.
And singer and performers. Hannah Waddingham is involved.
Not too bad, eh? Yeah, David Badella, Hannah Waddingham, Amy Lennox, who was our Wendy in Peter Pan, and then went on to be a brilliant understudy for Sheridan Smith in Legally Blonde, and is now in Decade, the Rupert Gould play about 9/11. Wonderful Beverly Rudd, who was Little Red Riding Hood in Into the Woods in the Park summer before last, and the extraordinary Susie Chard.
It feels odd you saying that, because it still feels like it was just last summer.
I know, it does, doesn't it? It feels like it was a few weeks ago. I agree. God, where did the time go? So all of those great people. David Badella, I think, who I've always wanted to work with. He plays the evil spin doctor, William George.
You can give him notes up here and he'd still be able to belt those out.
He's good, but I have very much kept him in your own fruity region. I've kept him as a real bass baritone, yeah. Because that's where his voice is just so unique, I think. So
did you see him in Jerry Springer the Opera?
I did. That's where I thought that I'd really like to work with this man. Yeah, and we've got Michael Xavier is playing our prince, a more princely role you can't imagine. And
we like lovely Michael Xavier. He was wonderful in Love Story.
He was amazing,
and Spamalot as well.
He was. He's just a fantastically versatile and funny actor, which is important for the James Prince character, because he's plays the politician who falls in love with the rent boy.
So Soho Cinders is, I guess, should we say, loosely based on the fairy tale of Cinderella?
I think loose is definitely a word you can apply to Soho Cinders. Yes.
Oh, honey.
Oh, honey. It is. It's a very loose story. No, it's incredibly loosely based on Cinderella. It's really a completely original story. It's just the very basic idea of the fact that there is, in this case, a boy who lives with two vile, ugly sisters in a.
They're not drag queens. Are they?
They're not. No. We tried to turn as many of the panto conventions on their head as possible. So, although the prince is a boy, Cinderella's a boy. And he still has two ugly sisters, but they're played by real girls. And of course, they're not ugly. They're gorgeous. They just happen to be ugly inside. And so Velcro is the equivalent of Buttons. Her name is Velcro. She's got frizzy hair. That's the wonderful Amy Lennox. And Robbie and Buttons, the Buttons character, Velcro, are great friends, and they hang out together. But Robbie's life's been pretty crap because his mum died.
Do you have a fairy grandfather or fairy godfather? Or
no, he famously sings in Glass Slippers. No fairy godmother pops up to help things along. So no, but there's a character who has a sneaking wink at it, played by the extraordinary Sharon D. Clarke.
I saw Sharon in Ghost the other night, and just such a...
She's amazing.
She could sing the phone book and it would just be one of the best songs in the world.
We'll try that, shall we?
Right.
Start with Aardvark. No, that wouldn't be a phone book. And there might be a Mr. Aardvark. I wonder if there is. Yeah, so Sharon D. Clarke's going to rip the place up as the cycle rickshaw driver Shell, who is a little bit fairy godmotherish. Instead of a pumpkin, you get a cycle rickshaw that takes Robbie to the ball. And the ball is not really a ball, it's a political fundraising bash. But it's big and it's glamorous. It all goes terribly wrong at the ball, really.
And is this story entirely conceived by you and Ants, or is there a book writer?
No, me and Ants dreamt it all up starting a long time ago, starting in the summer of 2000. And we wrote an awful lot of it in 2001. And then we tried out a bit of it. And then we got hijacked by writing Mary Poppins in 2002. And by writing, I know, really, as I said in a recent piece in The Stage, these kind of distractions I can deal with. We wrote Mary Poppins, we wrote Betty Blue Eyes, and we wrote Soap Dish in the intervening time before we decided we wanted to get back and finish Soho Cinders. But most importantly, we brought on board our friend Elliot Davis to work with Anthony on the book. And that's made an enormous difference. Yeah, really good.
No animals in this?
Let me think. No. Not one.
Wow, Ants is out of his comfort zone with this show.
I know, tell you about it. Absolutely. No, there's very little mention of the fairy godmother-ish character. Sharon D. Clarke role sings at one finale, I can't do tricks with pumpkins nor know horses from white mice. So that's about the only mention of animals we get in the show.
Do you feel like this is sort of a test for you to see if you can get it done this quickly, and you're given a band? It sort of seems like almost like a sort of university style final exam. Here's your actors, here's your... It is, isn't it?
Yeah, you're quite right. I think that's a very good point. It is a test for ourselves. Indeed, the whole show is a test. We decided, having won the Olivier Award in 2000 for Honk, we decided that we wanted to write whatever we wanted to do next, rather than just wait for the next commission to roll in or be led by any other outside factor, which a lot of our career had been. But Honk was our own decision to do, and that ended up pretty well. So we felt we really would like to do something that stretched us and was completely outside of not only our comfort zone but what the audience expects that we do. So the whole show was like that, and therefore to end up with it being a massive stretch of everybody's abilities and time and everything else is, I guess, fitting for the project, because we wanted it to be a surprise. I mean, it's not going to be a complete surprise because we did do the 7 songs at the concert and they are on the Spoonful of Stiles and Drew album, so it's fun. We wanted to write a really contemporary score. We wanted to write something as poppy as we could and write as many songs that worked completely as numbers, even potentially outside the show, so that you wouldn't be in that situation where you were selling the show to the public at large and there wasn't a number you could do. It was very interesting talking to Jamie Hendry, one of the producers on Legally Blonde. One of their big problems is that show is there is not a number that you can do out of context of the show. There just isn't. Everything has dialogue within it, or is...
It works within the book.
It works brilliantly within the book, but he says in terms of selling it, it's a real bit of difficulty because they can't do numbers on the TV, etc. And we decided very early on that we might even start it as a concept album. It was that much that we wanted the songs to lead it. Of course, they're still dramatic, but we wanted them to work outside.
Do you think it's, as regards a story and not so much the musical style, do you think it's risky writing a modern musical because then it becomes, dare I say, dated?
Good question again. Boy, you're full of them this afternoon. Yeah, I think it probably does. I think it's risky. Indeed, part of the reason we stopped and restructured it quite severely is that we got a plot that ended up very hooked into specific technology. We ended up with...
Internet cafes and things.
Yeah, it was set in an internet cafe, and we did feel that by the time we went back to it, they were on the fade. I mean, I think there'll always be places where you can go and get serious broadbandage if you haven't got it on your mobile device, but as the world goes on, clearly we are all going to be permanently connected. So we've simply gone back a step. People use telephones, and yes, they're mobile, but technology doesn't play an enormous role otherwise. There's a big theme of the show which is about how James and Robbie meet, which is online, and although we don't see that meeting, we meet them 3 months into their relationship. A lot of it's conducted online because they're stolen moments.
People still chat on, Facebook now, especially.
Oh God, I think we're always going to. I mean, more and more we're going to spend our lives slightly removed from actually having a real conversation.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, not really. But we wanted to write about that. So Gypsies of the Ether is exactly that. Starts with, doesn't it seem strange meeting in this place? Gypsies of the ether, wanderers in space, secretive liaisons flirting on the screen, building up a picture in which no one can be seen. So the idea that you have this relationship.
It's so lovely.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, it was nice. I wanted to do something that felt like that. You are my intimate stranger. You are my faraway friend. Two souls linked by a highway, and the messages we sent. Something that sort of felt almost stuck in the ether, a sense of a kind of frozen stasis.
It's very ethereal, the music, and I can sort of imagine glass harmonicas and things.
Yeah, exactly. There's some wonderful... We've got a great guitarist, Steve Smith, who's doing some wonderful sort of coloration all around it, and we were playing that this afternoon.
I guess it's a nice direction for you to work in because of the... the 1940s feel for Betty Blue Eyes and the Edwardian feel, but with a modern touch from Mary Poppins as well. It's nice for you to go, right, let's chuck all that out the window.
It's nice to go, I'm so over men, especially when they're pissed. Those who've turned us down don't know what they've missed. Some seem hot till the rumpy pump starts, then they're not worth the sum of their parts.
And that was a cut song for Joyce from Betty Blue Eyes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Cameron barred immediately.
Barred immediately, yeah. No, it was, it's really fun. The Ugly Sisters are such a great...
Do you find once you have new actors, you want to rewrite material for their voices?
There isn't time, Nick, but yes. I mean, I actually have dropped the keys of David Badella's material because I wanted it. I loved the opportunity. I just sometimes don't dare anymore because sometimes you then find yourself having to undo a lot of choices because you limit the casting opportunities. But I think it's important that composers stick out for what they want on certain things, and now it's gone down there, it's going to stay there. In Glass Slippers, there's Gareth did a wonderful thing which I've kind of embedded into the song at the end of the... piano solo, he had a... it much better than me. But it's nice that the character is sort of in pain at the time, and so it's nice to be able to let that have another way of manifesting itself musically. I sounded like I was in pain, but it can be done musically, listener.
Just the one, as always. I mean, the actors can really, and sometimes they'll sing a note that you didn't write, but you really, really like that.
Oh,
and
God,
you
yeah, absolutely.
You write it in the score.
But that's the joy of it. I mean, that's why.
Get credit.
That's why we're doing the yeah. I think it's part of what they are supposed to bring to the job. But no, I think it's the same. You book great musicians because you expect them to bring their musicianship with them, and you book great actors because, of course, they're going to bring a whole load of stuff you never even thought of. But hopefully they're going to get it all because you've written a great story and a good script or a good song in the first place. But yeah, I'm very, very lucky. I work with just extraordinary people all the time, and so you get terribly spoiled because when somebody comes in and they're just really talented, but they don't necessarily have the extra bag of tricks, you go, oh, all right then. But it's been a real revelation, and we haven't even scratched the surface on some of it. But and we won't, because it's a one-off concert, but what you'll get is this burst of possibility about what the show will be. And also we've got the amazing Sandy Toksvig narrating it, which we won't necessarily have when we do the show.
To narrate it slowly, because she speaks incredibly quickly.
She does, doesn't she? We'll mic her incredibly well. But no, when she does her own stand-up, you certainly understand it. It's when she feels she's got to pop a line in on the news quiz, and she tends to drop her voice and go quite low, but she makes me laugh so much. I saw her do stand-up at the Royal Albert Hall quite a few years ago, and I was literally helpless with laughter. I just think I love the self-depreciation that's in there, but also the absolute razor-sharp knife of it.
And I presume has she been improvising, ad-libbing lines that have been inserted?
We haven't got together yet, but no, we've written her very specific narration with her in our minds for this concert. But I think it's useful because we wanted the narration to set the tone of the evening. So very early on, she, I hope, will make us laugh and make us realise that this you're gonna get a story that is larger than life, but at the same time, we want you to fall in love with these characters, exactly like a great fable will do.
It's amazing how fairy tales have now sort of... It's great fun to look at them like Stephen Sondheim did in the 80s with Into the Woods, and Shrek does, and now you're doing. It's great to sort of look at them and sort of, how can we revert the form that everyone knows?
Well, I think that's the thing. I think shows... That's the great thing, isn't it? And I think that was in our background of our minds when we started. Something that gives you a common... understanding, a shared experience, as the theatre company would call it, a shared experience before you go in, that we all have these touchstones of this story, and that, I think, buys you a lot with the story you want to tell. And then when you go away from it, the audience goes, well, how long or how stretchy is this bit of elastic before we go clanging back to the story? And that's fun, and that's why it's important to have kind of quintessential characters, I think, like the Ugly Sisters, who you just kind of, when are they coming back? Yeah, it's fun. It's really lovely playing with people's expectations, and that's another test of this concert, is to see how much we can play with them without going wrong.
In testimony to another wonderful show, which sadly is no longer around, I'd like to hear Nobody, please.
Oh, would
end
you?
This discussion.
Oh, my Lord. Playing matinees at the Arcadia Theatre. No one even seeing my face. Giving lessons to privileged brats. If that's what it's like to have children, it's just as well we didn't have any. Striving to keep a gracious home, set a lovely table, prepare a meal from the meagrest of means. I could have been somebody. I should have been somebody. Everyone said I had a lovely voice.
What did I tell you about your posture, Joyce? Nobody wants to grow a hump.
Nobody. Nobody calls me nobody. I'm somebody they ought to be. Hobnobbing with yet they put me down. I see the way people smirk. Maybe their jibes wouldn't work if I could move in high circles. Nobody calls me nobody. If only they'd take the time, they'd see that those who call me a nobody don't know me. I'm not going any further than that. You can itch on the page turn as much as you like. Ain't my key, you see. So let's end with a little bit of what happens when the rickshaw driver turns up. You shall go to the ball, Cinderella. I'll take you for a ride. Yes, you shall go to the ball, lucky fella. Your carriage waits, just step inside. Well, I can't do tricks with pumpkins, nor no horses from white mice. But who needs veg and vermin when you've got me for half price? You shall go to the ball, Cinderella. I'll get you there all right. Yes, you shall go to the ball. I can tell a lot is up for grabs. You got the best of cabs tonight. I could use another glass of Baileys, a Baileys. Second thoughts, I'll have a glass of white. Make it two. Two silly bints gonna fight for a prince. 'Cause tonight, you shall go to the ball, Cinderella. Both looking fit and slim. Yes, we shall go to the ball, looking stellar. I could be the girl for him. Well, I love this shade of lip gloss. My mascara's by Chanel. You'd never think two scrubbers could have got tidied up quite this well. And you'll have to come to hear the rest of it. Come to the concert on the 9th. You will see me strapped to the piano, probably in a small pool by the end of the evening. But I'm really, really, really looking forward to it.
Right, so we'll leave it at that. And thank you very much, George Stiles, for chatting and singing and playing to us.
Thank you, as always, for your interest. And see you next time.
Thank you. George Stiles there discussing Soho Cinders. The concert is playing at the Queen's Theatre on Sunday the 9th of October. For more information, please visit www.delfontmacintosh.co.uk.